Good day everyone, welcome to this video conference. Prior to this day, we've received questions that we will answer in today's conference. By the way, I am Gulomere Tabugok, a representative from the Philippines.
And I am Ana Marie A. Umilla, a representative also from the Philippines. For the first question, what is the root cause of the Russia-Ukraine war and what kind of global divide is it creating? Well, experts say that the cause of the military conflict can be tied to a complicated history, Russia's tension with NATO and the ambitions of Vladimir Putin. Before 1917, Russia and Ukraine were part of the Russian Empire. But after the Russian Revolution in 1917, this empire disintegrated and Ukraine declared itself an independent country. However, in 1920, Ukraine joined the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union fell apart in 1991, 15 new countries were formed, including Ukraine. That is, in real terms, Ukraine gained independence in the year 1991. However, Ukraine understands from the beginning that it can never compete with Russia on its own, and that is why it wants to join a military organization that will ensure its independence under all circumstances. Therefore, NATO is its best alternative. The dispute is that Ukraine wants to become a member of country of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO, and Russia is opposing it, because NATO is a military alliance between America and Western countries. Russia does not want its neighboring country to become a friend of NATO. Russia thinks if Ukraine were allowed to join on this organization, the group would move closer to Russia's borders. If Ukraine joined NATO, it is eligible to get support from the group's member in case of external attacks.
There you have it. Now I will be answering the second question. What are the implications of the war to the Philippines? What do you think ordinary Filipinos think about the war? We Filipinos might think that Ukraine is far away from the Philippines, that's why we are not endangered. However, analyzing the situation, there is still an effect to us. We are after all living in a global village. Because of globalization, Russia and Ukraine are likely to have minimal impact on the Philippines for now. It may lead to greater impact. The first point of impact would be on the price of fuel. As Russia is the world's 11th largest economy in terms of gross domestic product and a major producer and exporter of oil, gas, and coal. That means because Russia is still facing a war against Ukraine, it isn't able to export natural gases that causes us to heat oil and gas prices due to the decrease of the supply. When oil and gas prices increase, so do other products and services, particularly those in energy and transportation that rely heavily on oil. Prices of basic commodities such as rice and meat have been starting to increase too, especially as most of these are transported by gas-powered vehicles from faraway farms to the markets. Moreover, the strikes on gas prices are also affecting the fishing industry. A huge number of fishermen stopped catching fish due to the fact that they were starting to experience financial loss because most of their revenue went only to gas. I think the ordinary Filipinos are having a hard time on this situation. You can see the rants on social media about it, and I am also a witness about it.
It's truly a big fact that the Ukraine and Russians war brought a lot of implications for its neighboring countries, especially to direct purchaser countries. Then for the last question of this conference, what specific steps do you recommend that the UN or other international organizations take to stop the war? As a representative of the Philippines to the United Nations Security Council for the upcoming United Nations meeting, the first step I urge the UN or other international organizations to take to end the war between Ukraine and Russia is to encourage the UN Secretary General to offer any diplomatic or technical assistance required to progress ceasefire discussions and humanitarian access to conflict-affected areas. In addition, I want to propose to the General Assembly's President designating a senior envoy, such as a former head of state, to serve as the body's representative on humanitarian aid to Ukraine and Ukrainian refugees, in support to the work that the UN agencies are already doing. None of these initiatives will be sufficient to end the war on their own. Neither the General Assembly nor the UN system as a whole has the leverage to impose peace on Russia. But the Assembly can, through both its word and resolutions, make it clear that the majority of the UN will support peacemaking efforts.
So I guess that is the end of our video conference. Thank you for hearing our thoughts and knowledge about the Ukraine and Russia conflict. That's all. Thank you and God bless.